SeniorLivingGuide.com podcast discusses topics which are relevant to the everyday lives of seniors and their caregivers. We are joined by experts who share their knowledge on a variety of issues. SeniorLivingGuide.com podcast offers solutions and resources to create the best quality of life as we age. And now, let's welcome your host, Darlene Mahoney.
Does the idea of searching for senior housing solutions seem overwhelming? SeniorLivingGuide.com is your one-stop shop for all things senior housing, memory care, home health, home care, and other senior resources. Visit us today at SeniorLivingGuide.com to connect directly and get the information that you need to make the very best decision for you or your loved ones. And I would like to express our gratitude to our podcast sponsor, Transmed Care Long Distance Medical Transportation. When a loved one with a disability or medical condition needs to relocate, Transmed Care is here to help with safe and secure nationwide medical transport services with an emphasis on comfort and care.
Transmed Care Long Distance Medical Transportation is a business built on care. Another satisfied customer writes,
"My family cannot recommend Transmed Care enough. They made Dad comfortable every single step of the way on a very long trip and went above and beyond to take incredible care of him, and he had a great time. Thank you all for getting Dad safely to his new home."
To learn more about Transmed Care, visit the website at trans-medcare.com.
And today we welcome Julie Tambardi. She is the administrator of New Day Adult Care Center and has a bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in gerontology. I'm not even sure I pronounced that right, but we'll just get back into that. She started working in adult daycare in 1991 as an activities director in a small organization in Massachusetts. But since 2007, she has been the administrator of New Day Adult Care Center in Florida. She is certified Alzheimer's Level 1 and 2 trainer in the state of Florida and was trained through the Alzheimer's Association to lead caregiver support groups. Thank you so much for joining us today, Julie.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm really excited to have you. I've been wanting to talk about this subject for a while, and I know that you currently work with us. And so what a great opportunity for us to connect and chat about this, because it's something that it's a great solution, adult daycare, that a lot of people don't even know it exists.
Correct. And it's still surprising to me that people still don't really know of that option.
Yeah. I was actually talking with someone this past weekend who was trying to kind of figure out, they don't work in the home, but they wanted their parent to live with them. But the home care for, 8 to 10 hours a day, every day was just not something sustainable. And, she was worried about her mom having those, social skills and things like that. So I told her about this and she's like, "What are you talking about? I've never heard of this before." So we're going to educate some folks today on what is adult daycare.
Excellent.
Perfect. So the question is, in a nutshell, what is adult daycare?
Well, adult daycare is a program that provides supervised daytime care and activities for people with physical and or cognitive impairments. The goal is to keep people in their home as long as possible. So they come to the program during the day. They have their activities, their health care, meals, help with personal care if needed, and then they return back to their own home in the evening.
Yeah, that is such a perfect solution. If you're trying to keep your loved one at home, but you still have to work. And then you can maybe use those home care services on weekends or things like that when you might have a date night or you have a function that that person cannot attend. So that's a great opportunity to be able to save money and kind of get the best of both worlds.
Definitely. And it is a big, huge savings. I mean, for that person, for sure, what you can get at adult daycare for 10 hours in a day is huge as opposed to the home care cost of that 10 hours. It makes a very big difference.
Exactly. And sometimes it's really difficult to get home care for all those extended periods of time, especially with one person, with someone that's familiar, which in my case and in most people cases, when they do look at home care, that's preferred, that you don't have rotating people coming in and out. You have someone fairly consistent.
Absolutely. And that's nice at the day program because people really, the qualities in the details, and everybody knows that. So everybody who works at an adult daycare needs to know how to care for those people specifically. And if someone's absent, there's someone right there to help.
Yeah, exactly. No, I love it. So who benefits from adult daycare? So I feel like there's like a more than just the person that is attending and joining adult daycare, but it extends kind of a little bit about what we talked about, but just be a little bit more specific on what some of those benefits are for those folks.
So for the participant themselves, I would say, the benefits are huge because, if somebody provided you purpose in your day. Right now, if they're just home, sometimes part of the issue is they just feel like they have nothing for them anymore. They have no purpose. So to have a purpose, to be able to socialize, where humans are very social beings. So to be able to be around people, make friendships, participate in activities, and feel joy while you're doing so makes a huge difference in their emotional and even in behavior wise. Things can settle down a lot. The other thing for the participants is just the healthcare. Adult daycares, most have nurses, not all, but the things that can be caught in an adult daycare just by doing monthly blood pressures that you normally wouldn't maybe do, and you catch something and then you pursue further and then you find there is something, or just those little nuances that change in a day where I've never heard that person ask that question before. That seems a little weird. Wait, why are they having trouble getting up when they usually don't? And just a little bit of a change can be COVID. They
Right.
can have to go to the doctor and be seen, and it can be missed, but it can be picked up more easily in a program when you have so many eyes on everybody. So the healthcare, I think, is huge, but mostly the socialization and having a purpose and being around people and feeling good every day. For the families, for the caregivers, well, first of all, a lot of day programs do support groups, and if not, they will certainly help connect people to support groups, which is huge. Not feeling alone in this world of caregiving is a big deal for people. And to know that other people are struggling as well. But the other thing is they have peace of mind. They know their loved one is being cared for during the day, and they can take a break just because it's hard to be 24 hours a day on as a caregiver. They go to work. They can just do something for themselves because, as you know, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others. So there's so many benefits for both the caregiver and the participant.
Yeah, I feel like if you are consistently staying at home and you might have home care, you might not, or even if you're staying in a home where someone's working and they're out of the home and you are taking care of yourself and you maybe shouldn't be, but you might be. But even if that person's working remote, your caregiver's working remote, they don't have time to spend with that person that needs additional care. And what ends up happening is a lot of TV consumption.
A lot. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And just, brain, body health. If you don't use it, you lose it. Right. So
Right.
The more you engage in the multiple different things that can happen at a day program, because that's the whole point. There is social activities, there's cognitive activities, there's physical activities, or there's spiritual activities. So you're trying to involve all of the things that they can benefit from in a day.
Yeah. And I know that we've talked with so many different dementia experts and talked about dementia in general and brain health and all these different things. And social activity is absolutely huge to keep that noodle healthy and going. And then if you're doing projects, you're going beyond that social, you're doing things that make you think.
Absolutely. I can say two things. One is when my father was starting to have my personal father was starting to have some memory issues. That's the first thing the neurologist told him. I'm not giving you any medication. You need to go get involved. You need to go be around people, because he was just in his home all day and he was doing okay, but not great. So did he do that? Maybe a little, but it would have been good if he did a lot, because it changes things. But The other thing is, they say be social, engage yourself, all that to help maintain as long as possible. And we really saw it during COVID when we had a lot of participants before we needed to close at that time. And when some of them came back when we reopened, those people couldn't even do bingo anymore, which was really like you read it, it's true, that they need that stimulation, but then we just saw it. I mean, that just kind of sealed it for everybody. It was so clear what 2.5 months in your home not engaging in that way did for people.
Yeah. And some places were even closed significantly longer than that.
Yes.
So, and I know that even during that time frame when we were talking with different medical providers, that the depression that was becoming significantly more not relevant, but higher rates in seniors specifically was just apparent. I mean, it was absolutely apparent, the depression rate from being locked in their homes, from being alone, from not having that social engagement, just had on them.
And from the other side of it too, we see people coming into the programs that are, for our example, for my program anyway, we have two different sides. We have a regular side, and then we have a cognitively higher functioning that works on trivia and word games and brain games and things like that. So just on the coming in side, we see people, they start in the regular program because they couldn't do it, but over time, now they're socializing, they're doing more, and we're like, you know what? Hey, I'm going to walk you over to the other side. I want to see what you think of it over here. And they're doing fine and happy as can be. So just, allowing yourself to be part of something is just so important.
I mean, I feel like your quality of life shouldn't be discounted just because you're starting to have cognitive issues or you're getting older. You still need to look for those ways for your quality of life to be the best that it can be. And I think this is a great opportunity for some of those folks that are just watching television or they're not paying attention to things that are going on because they're just not being engaged the way that is healthy.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. So one of the things you mentioned is cost, so that it's less expensive to do adult daycare versus, home care for 8 to 10 hours a day, which can be completely unfeasible, especially if you're paying for it and you're working. And I mean, your salary, it's almost like daycare for children that we are seeing now. The cost can sometimes outweigh what you actually are bringing in.
Absolutely.
So what are the expectations? I know they're probably different in all different parts of the country, but what is the average? What does that typically look like?
So, because I knew this was is all over the country, I was trying to think about that a little bit. So I have seen as low as $50 and as high as $125 per day. And I think there are a lot of programs in many different places that can help assist with that. First of all, long-term care insurance, if anyone happened to buy into that, absolutely pays for adult daycare. The VA, if the person's a veteran themselves, has a program nationally that can help pay for adult daycare. There are in different counties, there's always these little programs that can also assist, and it's different across the country. So for us, for my program, we are right in there with like the Palm Beach County, the general norm. But I would say in our area, it's probably $75 to $100 a day for a full day. But many programs also have half-day rates, and some programs even do hourly. So there are ways to combine it in ways that work for you.
Yeah. So check into it.
Yeah.
So and the other thing that I wanted to ask, so what are things that are provided with adult daycare? I know that I believe that one around here that's located in my area actually provides transportation. So they'll come and get your senior and then also bring that person back at specifically designated times. Is that something that's normal, or is that, because to me, that is bonus.
That is a bonus. I'm not sure if it's normal or not normal, but it's definitely many. I'm going to say it's probably 50-50 for who does it and who doesn't do that. So some places have public transportation, not public, but like I know in Massachusetts they have like the Ride, or in Palm Beach County we have Palm Beach Connect. So that is a very, very discounted rate for a person-to-person pickup and drop-off service. So it's like $3.50 here, let's say. So there are some of those, even if you don't have your own vehicles, but many, I would say there's many across the country that have their own vehicles, and it is a great, great service. It is, I had it when I was when I was a day program administrator in another state for a period of time. And it's stressful. It is a stressful thing to be driving around with people. And I give them a lot of credit for doing that.
100%. I even know that driving with my dad who had dementia, we'd be in the car 5 minutes and you'd think we'd been in it for 5 hours because he just, why is it taking so long? I don't understand why where are we? What are we doing? And it was just, I would literally have him watch the GPS for me to take him and go up to Publix because he needed to see how long it was going to take to get there, because time is completely different for a lot of people with cognitive impairment, their relation to time. So for me, I was just like going, I can't imagine doing a long road trip with him. I don't think he could have handled it. So yeah.
So transportation is a good bonus. Some programs, you're asking about services. So some programs have nurses and some do not. The ones that have nurses, they can do medication administration. They do health monitoring. There's physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, cognitive therapy. We some places do flu vaccines at their facilities. Some places, so there's a lot in the healthcare world that can be taken care of at one stop. Or podiatrists come in, things like that. So there is a lot that can be done in that realm. Many programs vary on what level they'll handle in terms of cognitive impairment and in terms of physical impairment. Some people will do a 2-person assist for helping somebody in the bathroom. Some people will only do a 1-person. Some places will only do a 1-person assist, and some places don't do any hands-on, where they just have to be able to, they can walk them in, but then they have to be able to do their personal care on their own. So there's a big difference in that. So there's just so many, I think it's comparable to assisted livings, where there's just so many nuances of each individual place of where they're at and what they're capable of doing. The activities that's what we do. If there is no activities, there is nobody coming to us. So they come for the programs, they come for the joy, they come for the parties, the things that you try to make special for them. And they have to be all day long. There's no beds to go to. There's no place to lay down. Well, there's recliners to lay down if you need it, but there's no private areas to just go back to your room. So if you're not doing activities every minute of the day, then people are okay, ready to go. Where's my driver? I'm going. So we're keeping people engaged all day long.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And one of the things that, price point wise, if you're getting all those added health benefits from, like a podiatrist that's coming in and getting your blood pressure checked, and actually the second pair of eyes, because I sometimes think that, when you're living with someone, you might not see a digression or anything like that. Whereas if you've got someone else, especially someone that's a professional, working with people every day, they're going to notice that more. And that's going to be helpful in getting extended care or getting, any additional help that person might need.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's natural as somebody is declining or changing, you're slowly compensating for them when you live with them, and unknowingly, and you don't even realize where they're really at. And sometimes it is good to have that other perspective, and it's hard to see. It's not like you can just take them to the doctor or nurse's office, and sometimes, they can hold it together for a little bit, and they don't see the true person as they are at home.
Yeah, it can be. And I love the way that you put that. I've never heard it termed that way, that you will compensate and not realize that you're doing it.
Yeah, I think it's just a natural thing. It happens a lot. Most people it happens with. They know something's different, but they're just slowly I'm going to start taking this over or start doing this. And it's hard to see where they're really at.
It is. And I definitely did that with my dad before I got a proper diagnosis. And in actuality, kind of trying to make excuses for some of the things that were going on because I didn't want to wrap my head around that this is actually could be happening.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, this is Andrew Brainerd, owner of TransMedCare Long Distance Medical Transportation. When the time comes to relocate a loved one under medical care, TransMedCare is here to help. We offer nationwide medical transport services with fully customized vans providing all the comforts of home, and licensed medical professionals to accompany your loved one along every mile. At TransMedCare, nothing is more important than bringing your loved one home safely. Visit our website at trans-medcare.com.
So I know the answer to this, but you can expand on it. Should you visit an adult daycare before committing to one?
Yes, absolutely.
Good answer. Good answer.
So I think you can listen. I can describe over the phone all day long what my program does, but until you see it and feel it, you don't really get it. So yeah, you definitely have to see it. But also, I think you want to see people that are well cared for. You want to see a place that feels comfortable. You want to see staff that look happy in their job and want to hear about the longevity of the staff that are there and what type of programs. In fact, I used to give tours at any time of the day, whatever was convenient for you, and I still will, but I really try to do it during the times of the most people are there with the most activities, because that's where you're going to know, would my father do this? Would my mother participate in this? Are they going to be comfortable here? That's how you know. You have to see it and see that people are well cared for and hear how the staff interacts. And you can't do that from a phone call.
No, absolutely. And I think to go in and even see the they're not residents because that's senior living.
Participants.
Participants. Okay. So we'll do this participants. See who your mother or father or loved one or whatever the case may be is going to be interacting while they're there. Right. Is this a potential for a new friendship? Because there's some really great ladies there that maybe enjoy some of the same things or chatting. And I think it can help you kind of imagine that your parent is able to make some of those connections for a better quality of life as well.
Yes, I equate it to like picking out a college. I'm in the process with my son doing that. And I keep saying, as we visit, do you see your people? Like, you have to see your people. You have to see yourself. What they're doing is exciting to you from what you see. You have to be able to feel that. And if you don't, then it might not be the right fit. And I usually encourage families to try to come once with the first time without the person, because they know them best, so that I'll be able to explain it without being careful exactly what they're seeing, so that they can really understand what we do and then bring it to them in a way that's going to help them say yes. And then they can come back with the person for sure. And they can come back and observe and stay for 2 hours and figure out if it really is for them, but I just think it's really good for families to see it first.
Yeah, I did have another question. So talking about, your loved one being there in security and things like that, do you typically have cameras or anything like that that's keeping an eye and you may not know the answer to this because this is just completely out of left field because it just popped into my brain, which happens on occasion. If those folks are able to kind of look and see, check in on their parent if they're leaving them for the day to kind of see the activities that they're doing, is that something that's normal, or is that something that
I am not really sure? We don't do that. I don't know if there are other day programs that do. I haven't heard anybody really talk about that. I know they do that in childcare, and it's kind of getting more and more regular. Yeah. So, but I'm really not sure if they do it in adult daycare. We do not. But we tell people, if you're nervous, call Call 1,000 times a day if you feel like you need to. Come peek in through the window. Don't let them see you, but peek in and see what's going on. Whatever you need unannounced is fine. You just have to feel comfortable when you're leaving your loved one.
Yeah. And that's a lot of it as well. Even in like assisted living, it's if you leave your loved one there, you have to have the trust in those employees that are taking care of your loved one every day to have that commitment. And I will say that if you build a rapport with them, you'll definitely get a better idea. Really get to know that person that's working with your loved one. I think it's really important to have that. It builds that trust. And then also that camaraderie when you go to pick that person up, where you have a good, frank conversation as well. So.
Absolutely. Communication, I feel like, for me, is the biggest thing. Is I will tell everything that's happened. And when I see them, they're going to know what's good, what hasn't been good. That I don't want them to have any surprises, because as a parent, I don't want any surprises. I don't want me to think my kid's doing fine at school and then one day find out that was completely not the truth. I want to know what's going on. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that you kind of hinted at is when you're taking someone, like when you're visiting, when you're taking your senior, your loved one to visit, to want them to want to go and encourage them to go. So my dad was very stubborn, and I don't think that's typically highly unusual.
No.
So what are some things that can benefit someone that may think that their loved one is not going to go or not going to want to go? How can they kind of move them in that direction, encourage them to participate in adult daycare?
It's a hard question because everyone's so individual and you don't know what's going to resonate to that person. But so we have suggested have the doctor say it, and give a timeline. We want you to do this for 1 month because we think this is going to help you maintain as long as possible. Whatever the doctor says, I want you to do this for 1 month. When people feel like they have an out, they're willing to try. And time, like you said, they don't really remember time as well as they used to. So it's not like they're like, all right, 1 month is up, I'm out. And even if they were feeling that way, usually within a couple days, they're good. They just have to get them in the door. So the doctor telling them, unless they hate their doctor, usually works. Sometimes I say, get that favorite son from California to ask them to do it, just for them. Sometimes it's, it depends on the husband-wife dynamic, whether many people will say, just do it for me. I just need 1 day. And usually it turns into a lot more, no matter however they start. We have people come in as volunteers. Sometimes they feel as though they're helping us. So that is a way to get people in because they feel like they're helping others or helping the program in some way. So there are a lot of little things, but you got to kind of figure out what's the catch for that person. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we have a program called the Integrated Memory Enhancement Program, and with that program, it tends to attract your father because they don't want to come, but it's geared towards cognitive programming to help them maintain. So it tends to get professionals in that aren't going to play bingo, aren't going to sing along, aren't going to, some of the things that you do in the regular day program, and they feel like it's a more professional setting. They can see themselves with those people. So sometimes you have to kind of just switch some of the programming to make it fit the people, and then you can get enough people to kind of switch around a little bit. But there's no perfect answer to that question.
No, there is not. And I will tell you, you have to kind of figure out with your loved one what works. I know that with my dad, he never went to adult daycare. He passed away years ago, right before COVID. But one of the things with him is when I realized I had to take his car keys away, that was not going to go well coming from me. I can absolutely tell you, he would have thrown himself a fit. So I told him that the police had told me that they needed him his keys and he was fine with that because a lot of seniors, they have a lot of respect for authority, which is, not what we're always seeing these days with some of the younger folks. But that is one of the things that I found that my dad really respected, things that the police would say to him or his doctor would say to him. And if that was something they recommended or told him, he was on board with it because it was coming from a place of authority. So you're right on that, having the doctor mention that. I think that's a great idea.
And I've even had husbands or wives tell their husbands that, when you're really at the end of your rope and nothing else is working, people of that generation fear the home, going to the home, because their parents or grandparents had to go to the home. So they're not going to do that. So, some people just go to that point where they say to them, listen, you're doing this for 2 days a week so I can get a break, or you're going to the home. And not that I'm recommending that threat, but
right.
But people do that sometimes. And it is the reality. They are going to have to put them somewhere if they can't get a break somehow. So
yeah. And I will say this, the fact that you have activities and all these different things, it does make their day, I would imagine, fly by a little bit more. That along with the fact, and give them something to look forward to go to, especially once they get into a routine. I think that that's a big deal too, getting into that routine.
Definitely.
If you're going, then you have that expectation, you get up and you make it happen. So,
yeah. And I think, for some people, most people, you can't say adult daycare or anything like that, because that just feels that's not for me. Some people, sometimes it's good not to even have a conversation. Just come, just show up in the morning. Hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. Should have the coffee with us. Somebody walks up, they write a little note. Hey, I love you. I have an appointment. I'll see you at 4:00. And they kind of walk out, and then we deal with trying to figure out how to keep them happy and entertained. And sometimes it completely works, and sometimes, okay, that didn't work. We're going to try something else next week.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's so much great information. Do you have anything else you want to add before we sign off on this podcast episode?
I don't think so. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, I think we covered quite a bit. I really appreciate your time, your expertise, and your willingness to share information with our listeners, hopefully to build a better quality of life for everyone involved, and give them different options, because I think there's no, one-stop solution for everything. I think you have to really figure out what works best for you and your family.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And that caregiver for sure.
Yes, because without the caregiver, there is definitely not staying at home at that point.
No, exactly. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I think we're going to go ahead and sign off on this podcast episode. If you enjoyed this episode, we are available anywhere you enjoy podcasts or music, such as Spotify, Apple, Good Pods. We're on babyboomer.org. Check us out there. And until then, thank you for listening.